Abhinav is in the typing chat, and he can jump on the call whenever he wants to. He was the victor today in the Team Rocket Grunt Cup. Here we go. On cue, right on cue. Welcome in, Abhinav.
Yo, Abhinav.
Hey, what's
Yo,
going on?
Hello. I can't. It's still loading for me.
Okay.
I think.
Let me
All
know
right.
when you're
Awesome.
good.
I I think I'm good. Can you guys see me?
Yes, we
yeah.
can.
Mm-hmm.
We can
Okay.
see you.
Awesome.
All right, congrats on your victory today.
All right.
Are
Um.
do you have the stream open maybe still?
Oh, that's what it is. I was like, why? I was like, why are there two jigglies? It's so
Two
confusing.
jig. No, the world does not need two jigglies. They can't handle one. Uh, so what? How? Congrats on your victory. And did you do a lot of preparation in this, or was this something you came into pretty casually? Because the Grunt Cup is like it's one of those third party kind of off off metas that people do, but like not a whole lot of people spend a lot of time preparing. Did you do that or no?
Yeah. So this is such a hard act following Speedy because I was listening to his interview and he said he had like so much preparation. And to an extent, I prepare like that much for Sylph as well, maybe. But no, I Grunt Cup was something I was just doing for fun. I found it on Butters was advertising it on his channel, and I was like, "Oh, this looks cool." And yeah, I just prepared for 2 hours. One night of like anger-fueled PV poke searching, and I was like, "This is a good team, right?" I just stuck Clefable in there, and I was like, "I'm good to go." And that's it. That's all I really did. And so it feels really crazy that here I am as a winner and cash prize, Jiggly Dad Twitch channel interview. It's just yeah, it's kind of
What?
surreal. Yeah,
uh, But I heard you talking after the fact with Sass, and one of the reasons that I specifically wanted to ask you on, not just because you won, was because you went out of your way to say that to anybody who's just kind of starting to get into PvP and maybe hasn't investigated the Sylph stuff and so forth, that it was just a whole lot of fun, and you really seem to have a take on that. And I really just kind of wanted to hear more from you in terms of just like what you think we can do to build the community, and what these kind of extra metas on the side mean to you. Like, is that something you really enjoy?
yeah. So this is something I like talk about a lot. This is something I spend a lot of time thinking about because it's so interesting to me how much this community absolutely like maybe hate is too strong a word, but like severely dislikes GBL. Like
Right.
it's like one of the most like unifying factors of the community. But for some reason, everybody still plays it, right? Like if like I like used to ask relatively famous streamers. Like obviously, I didn't have any way to contact like King or anyone, but I would ask people like 2 3 months ago, why is all your content GBL? Like I miss the days of Sylph content, and they were like, this is what everybody wants, and this is what everybody's watching right now. So it's weird how we all hate it, but still participate at the same time. So it's really sad to see that GBL has so much potential to be so much more, but it's this there's just a few things that Niantic could do, but they're not doing. And so yeah, one of the things I've talked about is I don't I don't know how many people in the chat play the main series games, but in the main series games in the battling feature, there's team preview where like before you enter a battle in an online matchmaking system, just like GBL, you get 1 minute to see your opponent's team of six, and they see your team of six, and then you either bring three or four, depending on if it's singles or doubles. And I think just that one small change would make GBL so much better. And another thing that would be really fun, I think, would be a casual ladder because the pressure of ranked is often like so much, and just there's no like the burnout is so real. Just I would like to play against random people from across the world and try out like Gallade, or I would like to try out. something like Dustclops, but I just can't because the ranked ladder forces me to like try to climb, and it's this kind of rat race we're all put in. So yeah, and that's why I think Sylph is so good because Sylph has done a great job of keeping things fresh, keeping things moving, giving me a new chance every month to team build, which I think is the best part of battling. Team building is really what gets me excited every month. And yeah, so the main thing I said on Sas's stream at the end was to anybody who doesn't do Sylph, I think GBL is a great way to showcase your battling skills. But Sylph is where I got to grow my battling skills and where I learned to be a battler. So the skills I get to like maybe showcase in GBL and climb the leaderboard all came because I did Sylph. So yeah, I think Sylph is where it's at if you really want to grow as a battler.
And have you participated before in Grunt Cups, or was this the first one that you did?
No, this was my first Grand Cup. Like I said, I had no idea. Like I think I used to see it on PV Perk occasionally under like alternate formats for rankings, but I had no idea what Grunt Cup was or who was hosting it. But then I think Butters advertised it on his channel 2 weeks ago, and yeah, I was like, this thing's interesting. I'm really bored. Everyone's doing Sinister, and I hate Sinister. So me and my girlfriend, who also does PvP, we were just like, this sounds really cool, and we should do it. And yeah, it was great. I had a great time. I think the meta was really good. Shout out to like Sassafras, Butters, and everybody else who designed it. I think it was really fun. And though my only regret is I didn't use a shadow Pokemon. I really wanted to, but I don't have that kind of dust.
When you say that your girlfriend PvPs, I have to ask: was that something that you got her into, or was it something that that she already liked and it actually like brought you guys together somewhat?
So this is really interesting. I wish she was with me right now, but she's asleep. Uh, I'm the night owl. So she was the one who got me into the game in August of 2018, which is like I think 2 years after the game came out. So I haven't been playing nearly as long as most people. I was like, I've been a Pokemon fan since like I was a child, played the console games, and for the first 2 years of the game being launched, I was like, oh, here she is. I should let her say hi.
Hello. He
Hello.
summoned you.
I was watching stream and I saw that you were talking about me.
So you came into the
Go
room to
ahead,
give us the
whatever you're
real
saying.
story. Is that what it was?
Let me plug this out.
This
Hi,
is,
can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah.
This is too adorable. So,
Okay, awesome.
did you come into
Yeah, so
into the
this is
room to give
Shelly,
us the
my
real
girlfriend.
story so that he didn't botch it?
So yeah, the story is that she got me into the game 2018 of August. I had like I thought the game was pretty stupid until that point. I was like, why would you play Pokemon Go when you can just get all of that experience plus more from the console games? But like I was like, this girl I think is really cool, plays it. I should give it a try. So I started playing the game, and I've been hooked ever since. And um, I I was the one who got her into PvP after that. Like I think it was during June or I don't know, June or May 2019. I think it was Sylph's Jungle Cup when I started PvPing, and I was like itching to get into it for a while because I've always loved battling, but it just seemed so inaccessible at the time because I had no dust whatsoever. And then there was it was the I don't remember what it was, but it was that 1 week where we had triple Stardust for everything in August of 2019. So I grinded, got 2 million dust in 1 week. I was out. I'm a university student, and I was grinding on my university squad at like 3 a.m. when people were studying for finals. And
How did you do on the
and I
finals, by
got
the
into
way?
PV. Oh, solid B. I'm a solid B student. So yeah, So I got into PvP, and like a few months later, I told her, I think you really like this. You should get into it. And ever since then, we've both been PvPing.
That's very cool. Once again, I always
Yeah.
want to give the chance to ask questions to my co-host before I just start rambling on and on. Anything from Alyssa? You got anything?
Oh no, I'm
No,
just
that's
taking
okay.
it in.
All right. Anything from the guys? Anything from Scientist, the member of Team Rocket, or Max, the meta dismantler?
So are you guys couple goals? Are you guys a house divided? Are you on like one is Team Instinct, the other one is wrong? Like what is
No, we're both Team Instinct for sure. So there was this one person. I think it's her
so
friend's
happy?
boyfriend who was who was the first person who started playing this game, and from him has a whole branch of Team Instincts have branched out, of which I am just one humble node. There are like 50 people who play this game who are Team Instinct because of him, like probably. But no, it's weird. Like I remember one of the first tournaments we got matched up in. It was in the final round, and it was weird playing her. Like, and ever since then, I think we match with each other in Sylph tournaments like twice a month, and like it's always weird because the pressure's on, and whoever loses is gonna like feel shit for like a few hours after. And so she was like, but the first time we battled though, she was like, no, I can't do this. So she sent me to the other room. I was like, I can't look at you right now. So we battled from different rooms. But yeah, it's interesting. It's always, but it's really nice to, I would say it's really nice to have someone who understands what you go through, and someone who supports you on the journey. So that's obviously like invaluable.
That's really cool. And like you were doing your uni thing, you guys are couples that play pogo, and now you're hooked onto these like closed metas, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I love Sylph. Yeah, I'm a university student, fourth year, University of Chicago. So I'm actually from India. So this is about to enter my fourth year of being in this country as well, which feels weird. It feels like a lot longer than it actually is.
That's just a
Uh,
quarantine stuff, man.
for sure, for sure. Um, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life after. Haven't figured any of that out. But yeah, killing it in Pogo, right? That's the dream.
Totally. Totally. Oh my god.
You're just like the rest
Yeah.
of us. Haven't figured out life. Pogo on it.
I figured
Yeah,
out
for sure. Like my parents message me like, what are you gonna like? What is your job prospects? What are you gonna do after you graduate? Have you done any internships yet? I was like, no, but I was 13th on the leaderboard yesterday.
missed
Aw.
opportunity.
And
They
then
could have been like, "What do you want to do with your life? What jobs do you want?" You're like, "I want to be the very best. Like no one ever."
Exactly, exactly.
Oh man.
man,
As somebody who didn't pick up the game until 2018, what has your perspective been on things like legacy moves when they brought them back, the elite TMs
Yeah.
and that kind of thing? What has been your experience?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like I for sure was someone who felt extremely locked out of like high level PvP performance because I didn't have access to like, so I joined in August 2018, which was I think EV Community Day. I missed that too because it was my first month. I didn't even know what that was. I didn't even know you could delete field research tasks for like 3 weeks. I was just sitting on
Oh.
make an excellent throw for like 3 weeks, I think. So after like September, I think was my first one, which is Chikorita. After that, I have like stuff. So like until for a long time, I didn't have like Blast Burn, Charizard, Frenzy Plant, Venusaur, and it was really frustrating because I just used to face these Pokemon in like tournament play, and I was like, I have no answer, and I like because oftentimes the best answer to a Pokemon is to like mirror, right? And I just didn't have that. Like I remember Jungle Cup, and luckily I had a Vigoroth, but like I didn't have Venusaur, I didn't have legacy bug bite beadrill, maybe I don't know, other kinds of stuff, and I just it was really hard. And I think the fact that Niantic made legacy moves non-legacy was one of the best things that could have happened, because it's been a struggle for sure. I was lucky enough to get double legacy dugong a year ago from like a random person who just like, I don't care, you can have it, and it traded into a rank 64, and I was like,
Jeez.
I'll take it. But like it's real. Like I've heard a lot of people ask me like, I see you do really well in GBL. What is the key to your success? How can I replicate? And I just it just feels so shitty to say, do you have a double legacy dugong? And it's so sad, right? And I think elite TMs are definitely not a step in the wrong direction, but I definitely think elite TMs should not be the end game. I think monetizing exclusivity is not good, and I think um, making elite TMs the end all be all for legacy move sets is not the way to go. I hope. Like I really liked that one month where Niantic brought back everything, like Shadow Ball Haunter, Poison Fang Venomoth, and there's a bunch of other stuff that came back. And I really hope that's the way to go. But like the fact that they haven't brought back stuff like Double Legacy Dugong scares me, because I think Niantic is beginning to understand how valuable certain movesets are. And my fear is that the month where they unlegacied all that stuff was before they came up with the idea of elite TMs, and now that they've landed upon the treasure trove of elite TMs, they might never go back, which is really worrying, because I don't think it's a healthy outlet for the game.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good observation that they did all of that before the elite TMs. So yeah, they definitely had to think that through. Um, in terms of trying to encourage other people to get involved, or kind of explaining to them, you know, your journey, if you will, if you weren't super involved at the beginning, what do you think? What kind of things do you think we could do to get more people involved on the show six kind of hashtag battler kind of self stuff, as opposed to this? And do you think maybe if the walking requirement comes back to GBLs, that people will start looking for those outlets naturally that don't cost money?
Yeah, yeah. I think GBL has really benefited from this no walking requirement. It was even 6 sets a day at one point. And I think quarantine making the Twitch community grow so much, and everybody's doing GBL. Has just create the spotlight is on GBL right now, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I think the way forward for Pokemon Go PvP as an esport, if not and if not an esport, definitely the way forward is not GBL. I think the way forward is definitely something around Sylph, or if not Sylph, something around the show six, more team building oriented, more skill oriented format. And yeah, so this is what I keep telling anybody who's interested. Like if I there's like I play on my university's quad, and I run into a bunch of people who, like a university atmosphere just leads to a bunch of people playing stuff like Pokemon Go, right? So there's a bunch of people who play Pokemon Go here, and I think I'm the only one who does Sylph. And I keep trying to get them into it, but there just seems to be some kind of complication or um, obfuscation barrier that like they're like GBL is easy, Sylph is hard to understand, and it's so sad. I wish I could like figure out what is like the key to unlock that puzzle, but it's just yeah. Like I think the GBL is just so straightforward. You just pick 3 mons and you go. I guess that's what it is, but um, getting getting new people into Sylph, I think, is really the key going forward. And I think local communities definitely do a big part of that, like citywide Discord servers that are just primarily for raid coordination and stuff. Also, are starting to have PvP channels, PvP arena discussion stuff, where normally people who don't do PvP at all and just are in the server for raiding sometimes pop by and be like, "Oh, hey, what's new in PvP?" Or "I'm doing this in GBL," because everybody's playing GBL. I'm doing this in GBL, but PvP has me interested, and that's a good start for sure. And I think we have to capitalize on that.
You said that it was a hard act to follow for Speedy on before, and he said that his goal next year was, I think, did you say a 70 something percent win percentage? And I'm looking at your Sylph card, and you are sitting there at a 70.39 win percentage at an elite. So, I mean, you have that on him, so it's not. That's definitely not something to scoff at. I know there's a lot of things that go into that,
Yeah.
but I just thought I would bring that up. Prior to COVID and all that, did you have a local community that you actually were able to rely on for reliable tournaments? Obviously in Chicago they exist, but I don't know how much you tapped into it, or were you still primarily an online tournament goer?
Right. So this is interesting. Like, um, so my local Discord is DTC. It's fantastic. It's the main Chicago Discord. It's DTC is downtown Chicago, but it's now expanded to most of Chicagoland. So yeah, it's a great Discord. I think it has like 10,000 members, maybe more. So yeah, pre-COVID, interestingly, I did zero online tournaments because um, I think Go Stadium was the only way to do online tournaments, and maybe Pogo Coliseum, which was like still growing at the time. And I really did not like I think Go Stadium is great. I think Go Stadium does a lot of things amazing, but I did not like the fact that Go Stadium's tiered structure meant that you had to like build up to ultra friends with some with a group of 20 people every 4 months. Like
Right,
that was
it's a lot of work.
friendship building is hard for me, so I just decided to like stay out of it. And yeah, like I said, my local Discord group is great. So we used to have like 3 or 4 um, in-person tournaments a month, and there are like neighboring Discord servers that host their own. So in total, I used to do like maybe 5 tournaments a month, all in person, and that was it. And that was really good for me. It allowed me to like grow as a battler, but I definitely did not like that was like I it's so different looking back now because at that point I was someone who had just like dipped my toes into the PvP community. I think I was a good battler, but I don't think I was doing anything special or at the moment. I think COVID happened like the whole quarantine thing started here in like March, which was Toxic Cup, and then everything went online. Friendship requirements got removed from all out of nowhere, and then these big 7 round online tournaments appeared, as we all know. And so since then, I think I've been doing like 10, 12 tournaments a month, even more maybe. Most of them are like 7 rounds, and I that is what is like really allowed me to like grow as a battler. I Having access to more tournaments allowed me to practice, allowed me to repeat the same things over and over again. And I remember pre-COVID, I think my win rate on Sylph was like, I don't know, 59%, maybe even less. And ever since then, I think I've climbed like more than 12%, like 10,000 spots on the Sylph leaderboard, maybe. And it's all because COVID allowed me the time and to get into online tournaments, get into COVID also allowed me the time to spend more time on PvP, a little extra time researching every day, a little more time on PvP, which, as we all know, is a fantastic resource. So, yeah, the one of the most positive things to come out of COVID for me, amongst all the other um, things happening around us, was the fact that I could really focus on becoming a better PvPer, and that's what the thing about that's the thing that's so great about Sylph. Time spent in leads to real rewards. You can like with enough practice and team building practice and battling practice, you can legitimately get better and better, and the sky's the limit. But with GBL, there's always seems to be a dead end. No matter you seem to get good enough to a point that you win 3 out of 5 games, and if you're lucky, you win 4 out of 5 games, and that's the end of the wall, right? Like, and that's frustrating. And so Sylph allows me to blossom into a better battler, and I really appreciate that.
Where do you stand on the spectrum of burnout with all these extra tournaments that you're doing? Is it still satisfying to you? Do you get burnt out at all?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think burnout is definitely real. Um, I am in a confusing state of both um, really happy with my PvP performances, but also really burnt out. I think I've done over 430 battles this year in Sylph, and that is, I think, above average. Not nearly the highest by any means, but that is a lot, and it is getting to me. I feel the end of the season uh, has been a big weight off my shoulders. The constant grind to try to hit elite was real, and 430 is a lot. Like that's like every one of those is a set of three, so that's all over 1,300 ranked battles, and like I think most humans would say that is can take a toll on any person. So I think burnout is real. I think we all need to remind ourselves to take it slow when it comes to this game, because this game has like such a weird, wonderful yet agonizing way of sucking you in too much, right? But I'm glad that I get a 1 month break. I think I'm gonna go back into next season, raring to go for sure. But this has been my first real season of PvP, and it's taught me a lot. And maybe, hopefully, next season, I'll take it a little more chill.
All right. I think scientist had a question for you.
Yeah, I just wanted to interject like a little bit ago. First of all, it's awesome seeing you. But GG's today also. Great fight.
Thank
In
you.
Grudco. Um, and I just like after all that you just said, like I can totally relate with you because I'm also fourth year in uni, at
Wow, nice.
UCR. Yeah, so um and like I can totally see like people in my community, they're not as into PvP as I am. Like I'm probably like there's three other Sylph people in at UCR. So
Yeah.
like it's really hard to push that, and I think the reason is because like what we mentioned, it's so much, I think it's like so much time to like prep for things that people are just resorting to the easier path, which is GBL. But it's also
Mhm.
sad because they don't see real rewards, like you also mentioned.
Mhm.
Like you can actually see like results from Sylph and like practice with team building and
Mhm.
stuff, but you can't see that with like the randomness and like luck of GBL. So
Yeah.
like with like just because essentially what it is like it's not all luck, but like you're going in there blind. So like there's no way to prepare yourself for what you're going to see. So like I think having that preparation and like knowing what you're going to see and expecting a certain outcome is really important. And it's important for any person. Like even in school, I think like if you just go blind into a test, you're probably not going to do as well as if you like study and,
Right.
prepare yourself. So people are putting more time into something that's easier by like not studying for tests, but they could be spending more time and more effort going for something like achieving an A rather than going for the easy, like I'm just going to blow it off type thing. I don't know. That's my take. But yeah, yeah.
Right.
That's my take.
No, yeah. I think those are great points. No, I
Yeah,
definitely agree. I think those are great points, and it's it's really interesting because I share, like I said, all the students here um, who study at the university. I share my experiences with them about Sylph, and like
right.
I tell them stories about my battles. Like I remember my first ever huge tournament win was like a Midwest Madness tournament, which was all the best battlers in the Midwest. So like a super high stakes, high level tournament, right when COVID happened. So one of the first big online tournaments, 7 rounds, 128 people, fully maxed, and I was like a challenger at the time. And I remember I played six aces, beat them all, went 7-0. I had this huge high. I was so happy, and I shared the story with my with fellow people in my community, and they were all so stoked for me for sure. And but that was the end of it. And I feel like I told them like you could get into this if you wanted. One year ago, less than a year ago, at that time, I was someone who didn't even understand how PvP worked, and like just a year's worth of like moderate effort and practice has led to such great things. But there always seems to be a gap where PvP is always seems to be a small fraction of the game. Like even today, the PvP community is probably what 2% of all players, maybe three, and that is so like that is so shocking to think of because I spend all my time talking to PvPers and stuff, discussing meta stuff, discussing other things like that. But then there's like a whole other world out there, and I think if the PvP community expanded to be even 10% of all Pokemon Go players, that would be so massive. That would be a big change, and all those influx of new PvP players into PvP would be amazing. But there just seems to be a roadblock, and that's really sad.
Right. And like it's not even like the people that are doing like GBLs, they know like at least in my area, like I'm sure in your area too, like they know the right counters, they know what to bring to things.
Right.
Like they're very intelligent people. They can do this. It's
Hmm.
just a matter of let's do it. And then they're like,
Right.
but it's like the whole thing, I think, is this game is full of collectors. That's like
Right.
the breakaway, right? We have the people that actually want to battle and like
Right.
take it kind of seriously, but then there's the people that are like, no, but I'm just in it for like the shinies and like the
Yeah.
rare stuff. But then
And that's
like
okay. Right. Like that's
that's
okay.
fine. That's fine. But like what if you actually got to use those things?
Right. So
That's just the idea.
I'm okay with the fact that most of the people in this
Right.
game are and always will be collectors, and to an extent, I am too. But there are so many
Right.
people out there. I think there are people out there who do like main series battling, and they don't do PvP, and
Yeah.
there are so many people out there I think who do want to battle and just don't know enough about Sylph. Maybe don't Sylph is too, like I said, Sylph at first can seem too complicated, and like I can relate to that. Because like I said, I did not start Sylph with everybody else. I started in jungle, but I used to be so most of my like I said, I started playing in August 2018. So like I had like 2 years worth of information to catch up on. So when I started playing the game and I got hooked, I used to go on Game Press every day and read up on what fast moves were, how charge moves were, what Pokemon were good, because it was like nothing like the main series games at all. Because it's the weirdest thing still is Niantic values the attack stat twice as much as any other stat. So I was like, and the speed stat is non-existent. So I came into this game thinking, oh, I'm gonna have a lot of fun times using like Alakazam and like others. And like, oh, Alakazam sucks now. There's no speed stat, and like it was a big learning curve. So I remember spending all my time on Game Press, and when Boulder came out with Sylph came out with Boulder, I was like, this is really cool. And I read up the whole Game Press meta discussion. Back then, I don't think PvPoke even existed. And then month after month, I would eagerly read the Game Press meta discussion articles. I would look forward to them coming out, and I'd like go to Game Press's site every day trying to see if it was up. But I never took part in it. I would read the entire Twilight meta or Tempest meta, and then just like be like, okay, that's it, I'm done. And it was just really sad because I felt like Sylph was the entry cost was too high with regards to Dust for a new player like me. I thought Sylph was too complicated to understand. I thought PvP was a skill that was too hard to acquire. All these things that I think current players feel as well. But then it took me like 5 6 months of reading Game Press articles and being so interested that one day I was just like, screw this. I'm gonna go to a jungle cup with a 1430 CP drill and see how it goes. And it was fine. I went 2-2, and I was like, I liked it, and I had a lot of fun. So I can relate to people now who think the same way that non GBL battling is hard to get into. But that is why I think GBL is great in many ways because I think the hate towards GBL is totally justified. But in many ways, GBL is a way, an accessible way for non-PvPers to PvP, and that means so much, I think, to the PvP community because GBL is bringing in new players to PvP every day. Every day, I see people doing GBL for the first time, asking how to get better at PvP. And just that first step is so much because that is a new player potentially in the PvP community. And that is all thanks to GBL. So, for all the reasons to be mad at GBL, I think GBL is allowing the growth of the PvP community. So, I think that's really meaningful.
We've got kind of an interesting show format going today because we've had two guests today that have won tournaments, and we've got a couple of our Bellsprouts that actually have to go. But what I wanted to do was make sure that we get to talking about Battle of the Servers and anything that Alyssa has going on before she has to depart for important family matters tomorrow. And if you want to hold on, I mean, we'd welcome your input on this. I don't know if you've taken part in any of the team aspects of things, but they've been a whole lot of fun as both Go Stadium and ARPVP have developed these kind of team formats. And so just before she has to depart, I wanted to kind of switch topics, and you are free to stay with us or take off as you may wish, because we value your input on all the topics of the day that we'll move on to. But it's been great having you.
Yeah, I'll stay on for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, a quick thing I'd like to say is, yeah, I'm team tournaments. I think are really fun. To anybody who hasn't done it, I would encourage it highly. I'm doing Go Stadium's Go Team Up right now. And yeah, it's been a great time. I missed out on Battle of the Servers, but yeah, I look forward to team tournaments, and I think taking part in a group endeavor instead of like trying to win by yourself is a much more meaningful way to play this game.
I agree, and I'm sure that Alyssa agrees. So, you want to give us the short, skinny? I think you've probably stated most of it last week, but if nothing else, we want to make sure anybody who wasn't here before has the news on what they have to do to be involved in Battle of the Servers. And we want to put it out there that we are officially going to have a team Bellsprouts, that all my Bellsprouts here, Alyssa, Scientist, Max, and I are all going to be on a team, and we have to find a fifth to fit the format, which is different from Go Stadium. So you can send your applications to jigglydad@gmail.com, and we will review those considerately. With consideration. I don't know what the right way to put that is, but as we were putting in our little private chat, if Speedius comes along and says he's willing to be on our team, then like whoever we tell other than that is going to be out of luck. So why don't you tell us the skinny, Alyssa?
So basically, same as I said last week, we're beginning team submissions on the 1st. And I don't expect anybody to actually give me their teams on the 1st. In full tradition, I expect to have all of them flood my inbox about 35 minutes before the deadline hits. It's the most popular time to submit everybody's teams. But it'll be easy this go around. We just need team captains to submit their roster and their Pokemon choices via email. And all of that will blast out everywhere on the 1st. It's just ArkansasPVP@gmail, and no messing with the forums or websites or anything else this time, because that was our biggest struggle with the last tournament, was that there was just so many moving pieces to it. So we're going to go back to basics this time. Team submissions in one spot and one spreadsheet, and I mean that hasn't changed. It's always been one spreadsheet. Format this time will be a little bit different. Instead of the multi-meta thing, we're going to do open Great League draft and one shadow Pokemon per battler. So that should be interesting. We're allowing a little bit of spice, but not so much that everyone's going to throw fit when you're running teams of 2 or 3 shadow Pokemon and wrecking up the place. But it'll be interesting to see who brings what.
Team Grasshole will not be usable. Is that what you're saying?
Right. I'm sure we'll still see Victor Bell floating around.
I am sure. So yes, there's that, and the Go Stadium team up has begun. I know that the team I am on with Jim Korn, we have everybody's completed their first round matches by now, I think, or we have to soon. So we did that in kind of a World Cup style fashion, and it's a very cool format. Hopefully we'll make it through. I really don't even know where that stands right now, but great to see these team tournament things progressing. Did you also have your combat server that's going live, or
Yes.
is it live already?
It is live in that the server is open and we're accepting teams, and that will officially begin on the 1st also. And for anyone who doesn't know what combat is, because it's super new and we haven't really pushed it out a ton of places, we're kind of considering this its beta season and just testing it out to see how it goes. But it's essentially a community versus community competition where we are amassing points through different avenues of the game, like PvP tournaments. Raids are probably the biggest way to get points. Trying to solo, duo, and then group raids in the lowest amount of time possible, which is, I'm sure you guys can imagine, a massive struggle for me because raiding is not my jam. I don't have good raid counters. Like, my raid counters are arguably trash. No one, my friends carry me in raids. I could not solo a single thing. Maybe like the tiers 1s and 2s and half of the 3s, but that's about that. Girls
All
that
the
PvP built a
agrons.
team. No, I do not use agrons. So I transferred all of my agrons just because if I went in with just the auto-selected teams the game gives me, I didn't want to go in with any agrons and catch shit from anybody. So I can't now. I deleted them all. Yeah, but even still, I pick my counters. They're just not like good counters. Like, most of my stuff is floating somewhere between 2,600 and 3,000, and I don't max like anything unless it's for PvP. So, struggle bus over here, but I make them do.
And you said that you were going to endeavor into Master or Master Premier for this round of GBL for the first time.
Yeah, I lied.
How has, you lied.
Yeah, that's not happening. Yeah, I haven't done it. I haven't touched GBL since the last day Ultra was around.
Awesome.
We started the combat thing, and I was like, okay, you gotta really pick here, because I can either invest in these raid counters to help my team, or I can invest in things for Master League. And I don't know. I didn't intend on participating in combat. I was kind of just gonna admin and take a break because I don't need to have a hand in everything. But then I had some FOMO, and I pitched it to girls at PvP, and they were excited about it, and now we have a team. So I'm gonna try to contribute where I can.
Well, may I raise you something? So if you're in sunny weather, Excadrill is really good, and it's really good in GBL. So
A twofer.
there you go. Okay, well.
I'll put a pin in Excadrill. I'll look at him tomorrow.
Excadrill is pretty nice.
Well, yeah,
Don't
but you
chat, cover
sometimes
your ears.
see Aggron in Master League to counter Togekiss, and it's good in raid, so you could still use Aggron.
I would say Excadrill. I would say Excadrill.
No on Aggron, solely because I don't need to get made fun of.
This is true. I don't want that for you, Alyssa. So
I don't want it either. Yeah, I already get made fun of. We're good.
So now that we have that out of the way, in terms of making sure everybody knows where they have to go for that, I don't know if you want to stick around a couple more minutes or not, but I know that you, like everyone else, has their opinion on the megas this week and how they were rolled out, and exactly what sort of impact they are having or not having on PvP and on your own personal experience. So I know Alyssa being, I think the way you phrased it, and I don't think this breaks the sanctity of the Bellsprouts chat by saying this, is that you are usually the person willing to hand Niantic your credit card, and even you are just kind of like, yeah, this is a little bit heavy-handed. So so why don't you start our discussion in terms of how it rolled out and your feelings on it, and if you have any ideas on how it could be improved.
Yeah, it just feels a little bit cash grabby. There's just so many small things they could have done to make megas a little bit less expensive, like making the candy universal instead of needing a specific mega candy or mega energy or whatever they're calling it per Pokemon. Like, why can't it just be across the board Mega Energy? Why does it have to be specific to Venusaur or Charizard or whoever else? So that's kind of frustrating because just to Mega that one Pokemon, you've got to do a whole ton and then multiply it by however many Megas there are. We're just sitting there, draining our pockets for this. And you could definitely do it free to play, but you're not, it's going to take forever, realistically. So that right there just feels a little bit crappy. Like they really could have done a little more with this. And it's not really true to this, like the series or the games as they're meant to be. I really thought best buddying was going to be a thing. And I'm kind of glad it's not, because I hate best buddying things. Like it's a chore to me and I don't enjoy it. But I still thought like that would be a thing because it's so relevant, like in the actual series. Like you're supposed to have that bond, and here you just don't. So I don't know. I think Niantic's been pretty open to criticism lately, and they've been really listening to the constructive feedback that we as a community have been giving them. And I really think they're listening on this. So I think it's just really important for us to kind of gather our thoughts collectively and present them concisely and constructively, and give Niantic something to really bounce off of, instead of just, screaming like, this is some bullshit, we don't like this, Megas are trash, let's not pay for them anymore. I think we really need to just use our platforms to give them something that they can use and grow off of.
Yeah, and I think that the takeaway, the short version for Niantic, if they have anyone watching, if they clip this, is that Alyssa is representative of some of your best customers, and even she thinks that this is a little bit heavy-handed. So, she may not be a carefree billionaire, but she definitely is willing to put her money on the line. And if that's the case, then I think that you are probably getting a little bit out there. And I think it's really been one of those cases where there's almost nobody in the community who feels that it's not cash grabby. I think there are some people who are okay with it, but not very many. And it really feels like that's the minority. What have you felt about that, Abhinav?
Yeah, this has been something that's been really surprising because I didn't expect Mega Evolutions to come so soon. They aren't even done with Gen 5, so I was like, Mega Evolution is Gen 6, and that's a long time away. So I think Niantic's Mega Evolution system and infrastructure is not the worst. I would definitely, the first thing I want to say is definitely that it's not the worst, but I definitely think that it is, like you said, cash grabby, and it could have been way better. Because Mega Evolution is something I was really looking forward to. It was one of my favorite main series features of all time. And so in the main series games, the lore is that you can only have one Mega Evolution at a time, and it is primarily for use in battle, and thus it is a temporary evolution only. And I like that Niantic stuck to all of that. I like that Niantic was faithful to the main series, and I think we should, for all the criticism we give Niantic, I think we should applaud Niantic for trying to be as faithful to the main series as possible. I think the only time, surprisingly, when they weren't faithful to the main series was when they introduced Charm, and I hate Charm, but like in the
Charm
one
encounter.
the one time where they like took a non-damaging move from the main series and just like made it a damaging move, and it just made no sense. So barring that one weird occurrence, I think Niantic has been super faithful to the main series, and I like that. So with the new feature, I like that it's temporary. I like that you can have one at a time. um, the main thing I like is that you can evolve Pokemon you already have, which I thought was the biggest and most key factor. If they had done Mega Raids, which is basically for 1 month you will encounter Mega Charizard raids, and that is the only way to get Mega Charizard. And then 1 year down the line, you will get shiny Mega Charizard raids. If they had done that, I would have probably taken a 1 month hiatus from the game because that would have been super frustrating. But the fact that they didn't do that and they allow us to evolve the Pokemon we already caught, I think is great. But the thing that sucks about it, I think, that everybody else has rightly pointed out, is that it's so expensive, and they should really fix that. I just a simple change from like what they have now, which is 200 mega energy to I think evolve for the first time for Charizard or the other two Kanto starters, and then 50 or 40 every time after. Like if they just change that to even maybe 200 for the first and then it's free after, even that would make so much sense. Just the fact that it's a continuous paywall is the one of the most frustrating things. I understand Mega Energy is something that they've introduced, which is not from not really from the main series, because the main series had the Mega Bracelet and the Mega Ring or whatever it was called. But Mega Energy is their way of introducing in-game currency behind Mega Evolution, and that's fine, that's fair. Just the fact that it's continuous is the thing that bothers me the most. If it was one time only, evolve using Mega Energy for the first time, and then that Pokemon can Mega Evolve whenever you want, or even maybe like a best buddy. You get 20 Mega Evolution swaps or something like that per day. Something so it wasn't a continuous paywall would really help, I think.
Right. Yeah, I think that the thing in my that's very tracks very much with what you're saying. I feel like it should be one time that you could theoretically pay to get it faster, just like everything else is in this game, where it's like if you want to pay to do all these raids, have all this extra candy, all the extra rare candy, have the better IVs before you have to trade it, all those things. I mean, there's ways that money accelerates your progress in the game,
Right.
but until now, I don't think there's been any way that money would essentially
Mhm.
optimize or improve the mons that you've already got. I mean, I guess arguably elite TMs, but
Yeah.
I think that what you're saying is exactly right. That it's fine if they cater to people who are just like, oh, I want to get it now. I want to have a screenshot day one. I want to, have a
Mhm.
hundo. I want to have whatever they want, and people can still do that. But to me, it would be fantastic if they want it to be something where each subsequent mega evolution it requires you to do something, that it
Right.
actually require you to do something. Like there's so many ways in the game that they've implemented tasks and research and achievements, badges, everything. Like they could take any number of those mechanics and just say, or even the walking distance from GBL. That I mean, you could say you can mega evolve and then you can't do it again until you've done this. You can't do it again until you've done this in the game. Something where it actually involves playing the game, and it could be hard, it could be easy, it could involve friendship, it could not. But like anything that took away that just you have to continually feed the loop of doing these specific raids that are going to inherently take you away from other raids that they of course want you to keep doing. And so I mean, the amount of money, I don't even think that it's honest to calculate the amount of money at like a flat rate. Like if somebody were to say, this is how much it costs to do the number of mega evolution or number of raids you need to do the mega evolutions this number of times, that's ignoring the fact that there are still legendary raids out there and other raids out there at the same time that presumably are not always going to be as irrelevant as Heatran might be at the moment for people. But I mean, like they're going to cycle those things in, and there's going to have to be a way to continually cycle mega energy or whatever it is into the game as well. And so if they keep it behind a paywall, that just seems really, really poor.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. I think this is definitely a step in the wrong direction. And so the one thing that really makes me happy about this game um, is the fact that you cannot buy Stardust. Um, because like you said, money is basically a fast track in this game to like success in any endeavor, which either poffins for buddying, passes for raids, or elite TMs for PvP. And luckily, PvP is the one where money is the least relevant, but even there, elite TMs are making a play, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I like that at least in Pokemon Go, the main in-game resource cannot be purchased with money, and that is something that most other games have fallen trap to, and that has really antagonized the player base, which is everything in the game comes from this one resource, and that resource can be purchased for, let's say, $10 for 1,000 of it, or $99 for 10,000 of it, something like that. And that has quickly led to like the game being disavowed or player base being frustrated. And I think Niantic has done a good job. I'm not going to say they've done a great job, but I think the fact that you cannot purchase Stardust, like straight Stardust, from the boxes is good. And the fact, I know you can purchase star pieces maybe, but the fact that Stardust cannot be purchased is good. But unfortunately, for the first time, with the advent of Mega Pokemon and Mega Energy, you are literally spending money to purchase Mega Energy, and that seems to be a huge step in the wrong direction that hopefully they correct. I don't think they will. But yeah, it is really unfortunate. I think luckily Mega Pokemon cannot be used for anything other than screenshots, like you said right now. But the day they allow Mega Pokemon into GBL, I'm sure Sylph will ban it, obviously. But if the day they allow Mega Pokemon into GBL, I think GBL is dead. Like Mega Mewtwo Y beats with Psystrike Shadow Ball beats every Pokemon in Master League in the one shield except Dialga, and that's unacceptable.
Would would you guys want to see, however they implement mega evolutions or adjust mega evolutions, would you like to see it be something that is a dynamic at play in whether it's GBLs or in Sylph if they were to fix it? Like Max, would you like to see mega evolutions being something you could use, or are you okay with it being kind of where they've got it, where they've essentially made it a fancy raid toy that lets you take down raids more quickly?
I think this first implementation, like it just seems like they have a knack for doing things and not really having a good enough like R&D plus play group to try to see like what are the potential pros and cons. So for raiders to get like this nice little niche feature where they can flex their like I was saying before, like a lot of the raiders spend like hundreds of dollars every weekend, if not every other weekend, just to raid to get the Shundo. Um, if there's a gender to the Pokemon, they have to get both the male and the female Shundos. They have to get the lucky Shundo. Like there's so many things to get to that like the rarest, most desired flex, right? That's what they're all about, is getting that really like exclusive collector's piece and to flex on each other, or have a squad to duo, trio, or solo or mock solo at the fastest time and be like, oh look, I know how to dodge perfectly. I know how to fight. I get the shaving off seconds. Like even a microsecond to kind of flex on each other. That's kind of like the highest degree, and that's kind of what we had this past weekend of the highest degree of PvP battlers, right? Where someone on the outside who's a raider is like, okay, so this guy hits a button and he like follows the fruit ninja path and he wins. Like, I don't really see a lot of skill on that. That's just tapping. And they'll say that in raiding, it's more skill intensive because you have to have like your teams and you have to do like the little like 0 second hack or like exploit or whatever you want to call it to get the full amount of seconds to get the solo or whatever it is. It's cool that they get this toy first, and it's cool that they can flex these. Because like you saw, what was it, day 1.5? Somebody had 999 candy. Like the people are out there, so people like that are gonna make it where actually it's not gonna go like, oh, we really failed on this. They're gonna be like, oh, you see, somebody liked it. So like, and somebody went hardcore on it. And if you do what, like 50 candy, like 1,000 candy divided by 50, because maybe they got it. Like, yeah, this person just dropped like a C note on us in day one. Like, we'll take it. So they're not gonna change a lot of it. So I think it's fine that these raiders have that. But I think there needs to be an alternative system if they want to make it into these GBL things, where I don't know, maybe it's something like I had envisioned it was something you unlock. Like you spend a whole bunch of resources up front, and now you've unlocked the potential to mega evolve. Maybe you have to do a fast move and get like 35 energy to be able to mega evolve a Pokemon mid battle. Because I believe in the main series game, um, you had to opt out or you had to opt in when to mega evolve. It wasn't like it came in and it immediately mega evolved. And you can only have one on your squad of 6 to mega evolve. So I could see someone in GBL going like full triple mega and just like eliminating the competition. Um, and everyone else just being like, I can't play because the halves are destroying the budget battlers. and I can't battle Master League at all. And I spent all this dust and resources to make a team, and I have absolutely no play because I'm going up against Mega Mega what Charizard, Mega Mewtwo, Mega Blastoise, whatever it is. All those things. You have no play. You can bring in the absolute hard counters on paper, be it typing or moves, and you just can't play. And so there's got to be something changed there, where they restrict it, or you got to like load up and be like, oh, I'm opting to Mega Evolve something, so you don't have a triple Mega team. So they definitely do have to change something up. It can't stay like this. But it is cool to see the Raiders finally get a new toy. Um, but but they do make it cheaper for you to Mega Evolve, right? Like you have to have something like was it 200, 400, or like something like 600 candy, and now the Mega Evolutions are somewhat free, but that's a lot up front. Um, and I definitely am having a hard time trying to get people to Mega Raid now because they're so over it. The fact that it is a paywall. Um, they make some changes where it's easier to get 50 candy, but there definitely needs to be like a major overhaul. And unfortunately, I think that it's going to be an amendment, not so much a new system implemented. And amending it from this system to something more friendly without screwing the people who already have like 1,000 candy and who have already dropped like a couple $100 on this feature. That's a very tight line to walk.
Yeah, it's definitely a very difficult thing. I mean, one, we know they've invested a lot, no doubt, in setting the system up, programming everything around it. There've probably been any number of assumptions in the code made upon it. And you can only imagine with the bugs we already experience each time they try and fix something, if they were to just say, oh, we're going to handle this a different way, like they would have to, they'd create innumerable problems for themselves in the process of just like kind of going backwards. But I know was in the chat. I don't know if he still is because he sometimes needs to get himself to bed doing what he does. But I know one of his tweets was something to the effect of that, I'd like to give constructive input, but given what you've rolled out, that it's so far from anything that people had envisioned, that like it's really hard to give constructive input, because I think we all recognize that dynamic that once the system's out there, and especially once people have poured as much money as they have into it on day one, like the moment you do something crazy where you're just like, oh, well, okay, we've heard your voices, trainers, and now you can get 100 mega evolution candy of your choice just by buddying something and walking at 1K or something. Like, then the people who spent money are going to be ticked off. And so it is very difficult to unring that bell, if you will. But I mean, what you guys, I think, are a little bit more on top of this. Maybe scientists, I think specifically, may have messaged me about this. The changes that have been made that I don't think they've announced, where there's something, or if you trade an already mega evolved Pokemon, it discounts the amount that it costs to mega evolve, and whether that was intentional or not, whether that was already in the code, or whether it's something that just got discovered. What is the actual system there for people like Jiggly, who's just a little bit more plugged in than Butters, who doesn't read the in-game news, but I don't know how it works.
The J Farm hack?
I think J Farm was the first person to put something out there that I saw. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So essentially, it was just on J Farm's account. He was saying like, if you trade a Pokemon that's already been Mega Evolved, I guess it only costs 50 candies for that person that Mega Evolves the Pokemon the next time. So basically, it's just you're getting a Pokemon that's already been Mega Evolved, so you just pay less upfront for it, which is nice. Like you'll always just pay 50 instead of paying 200, which is really nice. But I think that there shouldn't even be that system, and I completely agree with Abhinav. Like it should just be 200 done, or like, maybe like even increasing the amount of time and decreasing the amount of resources it costs, because like 4 hours is just not enough time. I feel like if it were ever to be implemented for like PvP, for like Great League, Ultra League, and Master League, like let's assume that's all working correctly, like not with on any of this stuff that's going on right now. Like let's just say like you register at a mega tournament and the mega tournament is 9 rounds. Well, how long
a
is
mega
9
tournament that we're differentiating from one that where you use mega Pokemon. We're talking about a big tournament.
Yeah, a 9-rounder like
Right.
Orlando
Oh,
Mega,
yeah, yeah,
Portland
yeah.
Mega.
I'm just
yeah.
saying that because they're the same word. I figure most people know what you mean, but
Okay. Well, okay, that's yeah. So like a big tournament. Let's say you're playing in a big tournament and it's 9 rounds. How long is a 9-round tournament? It's long if you don't know. Like I mean, it's long. That's all we have to say. Like
It's like an
LA,
8 to 9 hour tournament, so
it's
like you have
long.
to stop
You have to
mid
count for
battle
everyone. Yeah.
and like
So yeah,
raid to Mega Evolve to continue the tournament.
it's basically it's an hour each round if it's a big tournament and like there's a lot of people, and you're gonna have to mega evolve twice, and that's like not okay. I feel like what if you only have enough for one mega evolve and there's no raids around you? Like what are you supposed to do?
I'm
You
just
just
waiting for there to be bloodshed over somebody having
You're
a
disqualified.
dispute, and they stall the match just to make sure that their opponent who doesn't have enough candy can unmega evolve, and they would just like they would get so mad.
Wait, the timer down.
That's the new timeout strat.
Yeah,
Wow,
I mean,
the timeout strat on the mega.
normally
Wow,
all
that's
those
like a big brain play.
those clickbait kind of stories where they're just like, player kneecaps another player over a gym, like those I kind of gloss over because that happens everywhere, but you could legitimately see some like competitors taking this way too far where it would just be completely insane.
Stall them out on the dispute so they can't even compete. Wow, that's like how to get rid of your competition 101.
Right.
Wow.
Well,
but
like it's not enough time. It's in this weird space where it's not enough time or it's just too much freaking time to be Omega. Like
yeah,
you could Mega Evolve it for 4 hours. Okay, raid hours are an hour. These
that's a
like
lot.
community day
Yeah.
things, special event things, like these raid things are like 2 to 3 hours. The only other thing that I can think of that might have been exactly 4 hours was like the Rayquaza. No, I'm sorry, not the Rayquaza. The legendary dog raids. Like
Oh,
I think
right.
those are 3 or 4 hours, so you could get a shiny. But at the same time, like, why in God's name would you Mega Evolve one Pokemon? Do that like raids on
Exactly.
those things when those aren't even the hardest raids, and everybody wants to do them. So there's gonna be like 20 lobbies of like all these megas, and these like poor dogs are gonna be like beat harder than a Sarah McLachlan commercial. Like why would you want to do that? And it's not even gonna be for like mega candy or anything. Like it none of it adds up. You could make it maybe a 12-hour window, because most people are up for at least 12 hours. And or you could make it, like I said, you unlock it and you just hit the button and you mega evolve it on command or something. Like there are so many other things that make just remote amount of sense, but Niantic finds a line to just, okay, we could do this way that makes sense, this way that makes sense, this way that makes sense, or this way that makes sense. Let's find the line to really just baffle the community, and they do it every time. They're very consistent on that. So it's very weird. It's very odd. The game, like this is a very un-Pokemon game to be a Pokemon game. How do you level up Pokemon in the main series game? You battle and you level up. You have an experience share maybe. You give it rare candies to cheat on levels. But in this game, you have rare candies and you like shove them down your Magikarp's throat to evolve it, and you still got to power it up with more candies. You don't battle at all to power it up. You have to catch Pokemon and throw them into the landfill to power them up. Like, this is a very un-Pokemon game. Charm is one of the strongest attack moves in the game and in the main series. Like, I'm going to say Abernathy, but it's not Abernathy. Goddamn it. Abhinav said that it's a move that's supposed to be passive. It's supposed to be like a status
Right.
move where it's just like you charm your opponent and they are like, I can't attack you. You're too charming. Like, but that's exactly not. It's the most brutal move in this game. And then
I don't understand that.
counter is a very reactive move in the game, in the main series
Oh,
game.
yeah,
Eh,
that's really interesting how that happened. Like, I don't know if everybody else was as clued in at the time, but what happened was, it was right before Ralph's Community Day, and Ralph's final evolution, Gardevoir, is of psychic fairy type, as most of us know. And so Gardevoir was assigned the fairy typing in Generation 6. So Gardevoir was getting a community day, and everyone was really hyped. But then a lot of people, I think, were angry that Gardevoir couldn't run a full fairy move set because there was no fairy fast move in the game. And I think at that point, I don't know if Niantic realized it first. I hope Niantic realized it first. But very quickly, the Pokemon Go community, especially the PvP community, realized that there is no fairy there's no main series game fairy move that is left that Niantic hasn't already implemented as a charged move, except for Fairy Wind, which is only learned by Togekiss and a few other fairy types. So what Niantic did at that time was they took a fairy type move from the main series game that in the main series game does no damage and actually makes your Pokemon attack stat fall by 2 stages because they fall in love with you or whatever. And they took that and they were like, here is a fairy type move that does damage. And because Charm is widely accessible to most fairy types in the main series, Gardevoir can use it as well. Oh, also, by the way, it is going to do 5.5 damage per turn in PvP. And yeah, that was, and it was, I think it was right in the middle of Jungle Cup, and it totally broke Jungle Cup. And yeah, that was one time I think when Niantic really uh, made a horrible decision. And I think PvP has improved since then. Like Niantic's PvP wing seems to be getting better from the patch notes that we read every month. Or like the move updates seem thoroughly researched and detailed. We hear that Niantic battlers are actually some of them are really good. They're like rank 10 leaderboard. I think Michael is one of the most famous ones. So it gives me heart that there are these positive elements in Niantic's PvP wing, but the charm update was definitely a dark day for sure.
Let's just
like
note the
you can
one.
imagine that.
We have to note the one silver lining, which is that Wigglytuff was useful, and that's always near and dear to the cast. Go ahead.
It's like I can just imagine like, all right, go Gardevoir, use charm, and Gardevoir's like, I'm charming you. Like, okay, like ouch, like I'm charming you. It's like stop it, stop the madness. Like how does that move work in such a like aggressive way? How I just
Hey,
it makes
hey,
absolute no sense, but it's on par for Pokemon Go.
Max, at least it wasn't baby doll eyes. At least it wasn't baby doll eyes, okay? Because that would have been devastating. I'm baby doll eyeing you. Could you imagine that? Oh
Well,
my
I would
gosh.
not be surprised
What?
if that's like the next move that they implement type of thing where
Like
like
a snarl? Oh no. Like a snarl clone? Baby doll
no,
eyes.
no,
What?
like it's a straight up razor leaf clone or something.
Oh my, no, we don't need another one. We need a snarl clone for, I think we need a snarl clone for fairy types. I think that's like very necessary. It could be
Yeah,
like
sure.
an, yeah, it could be like a aromatic mist or something like, something that's a status effect that's not as, it's not charm.
So yeah, that would be good. Like that would be amazing for sure. Like I said, Fairy Wind hasn't been implemented
Or
yet.
fairy wind. Yeah.
But like,
Hmm.
unfortunately, not a lot of fairies get it. But a high energy generating fast move would be really cool.
Exactly.
I think Butters was saying that. They're saying this what I'm about to say on his stream like a few weeks ago, which was the advent and existence of high damage, low energy generating moves takes away from the skill of the game. And so the fact that
Yep.
Razor Leaf or Charm exists is actually doing more things against the growth of like PvP than like for PvP. Like a great example from last season in GBL is that a lot of battlers who were struggling with GBL, um, instead of trying to like get better with different team comps, um, or saw that one Reddit post on Silpharina which said, "Here is a super simple team to use. You basically have to keep tapping the screen. It's just Bastiodon, Defense Deoxys, and Razor Leaf Shadow Victory Bell." And like that is not helpful. Like I understand wanting to climb GBL leaderboards or like just reach rank 10 even. And if Bastidon Shadow Victory Bell Defense Deoxys does that for you, like that's fair. But if like the other people in the community who are wanting to grow as battlers start adopting Charm and Razor Leaf because they see that it's successful, that is at the end of the day a net negative on all of us.
As a Shadow Gardevoir user, I would like to strongly disagree on all counts of this.
Oh no.
No, but it's true, right? Like you could, if the fast move damage thing makes the shielding non-shielding scenarios irrelevant, right? Like you don't care about shields, or you just throw a shield because it feels really bad to die with two shields. I'm sorry, faint to two with two shields. So it's kind of like whatever. It doesn't make like the bait scenarios like, ooh, I made a good play. Like there is no sack switching in the fast move beatdown. There is a I'll just throw my Swampert into this Victory Bell and just see it die in two Razor Leafs, and I will throw my Fighter or my Razor Leafer out there and see it just kind of be a slugfest to maybe a charge move, and I'll throw a charge move, they throw a charge move, and then the game's over. Like you said, there's no real like skill to it. There's no the skill is more of like on the team building part at the front, but there's no like learning how to sack switch, which is very vital in Sylph. There's no and even in some Master League scenarios, right? So it's like there's some play there, and there's you know, like you get acid sprayed, you know, and you use the shield. Like, damn, do I switch or do I just like, you know, swallow my pride and just like take the bullet here? Or, you know, there's a lot of things that you can do, but when you just make it, you know, I'm just gonna tap and beat your Pokemon into the ground with fast moves, and oh, you only have one Pokemon left. Well, let's bring in the hard counter. Like you said, there's nothing where there's that overlap to Sylph, or this Grunt Cup, or to any of these other cups. Like there's no overlap. So then when those people with that same mindset come in, like, all right, I'm gonna bring in my Dragon Breath, my Razor Leaf, my Charmer, my counter, and I'm just gonna like beat you with fast moves, and then they get completely stomped on because they don't know typings, resistances, super effectiveness, sack switches, baiting, spamming, clock management, energy management. They don't know any of these other things, or like wild charge type of scenarios, right? Um, and stacking energy. They don't know any of these other things, and then they get stomped on. Then they get discouraged and say Sylph sucks. Because like they get this really wrong impression of it. Um, so and I feel like the shadow, or not the shadows, the megas kind of take a step with that, because you know we saw that video where blast burn does like 50-ish damage to a Kyogre, like not very effective. I think we have very different definitions of what not very effective is, Niantic.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a lot to work on, but even now PV Poke has been like rattling his brain and like losing sleep and like going on the brink of insanity, trying to figure out how to sim megas. And he just put out a tweet of Mega Beedrill versus Mega
Right.
Beedrill.
Right.
And his Mega Beedrill does like 40-ish damage to the other Mega Beedrill, but their Mega Beedrill, which has a lower attack stat, does like absurd amounts of damage to his Mega Beedrill, puts it in the red, and his barely puts it into the yellow. So it's kind of like very similar IV situations if you sim it, like if you sim them down with the stats away from the mega stuff. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't translate right. It breaks his PV poke system. You know, how do these megas work? Maybe the friendship is relevant, or like maybe how much candy you have is somehow relevant. Like maybe the weight and height stats that no one
Oh
ever
man.
cares about, unless it's, you know, they're doing the contest somehow, are relevant. Like
You win the
how
contest, you have a
No.
badge, and now your mega's overpowered. You can one-shot everything in the meta.
yeah, like you have like the 6 kilogram Weedle, and now you win CMP for some. It's just like it makes, who knows how obscure
What?
it could be, where it's like these things that, again, Niantic doesn't have transparency to talk about this. Niantic doesn't have, but they're working on it, so you can't really fault them on working on and improving, right? Like it's a work in progress. But there's so many things that we don't know and that they don't tell us, that we what are we supposed to do except for guess? And then, you know, when my Mega Beedrill loses to your Mega Beedrill and they're the same stats, and I'm scratching my head like, why did mine do so much less damage on an excellent and yours did so much more damage on a great? What I don't understand does not compute, right? So there's so many things that we have no idea on what could work. So it gets really frustrating. But hopefully with Sylph, like it mitigates some of that. Scientist?
Yes. So I made a discovery. I apparently there's a move I forgot about it. It's called Fairy Lock in the game, and if that could be like lock on except for fairy types, I think that would be
Oh
awesome.
man. We need another lock on. I guess another lock
We
on
do.
wouldn't be the worst thing if there
That
was
would be sick.
some parity
Yeah.
in other typings.
It's
Now,
not.
it would be the worst thing.
No, it would be great. Trust me, it'd be great.
Given the current move distributions, it would probably be a problem. I'm guessing some of the things that would get it would not be in the same class as the Reggies that only have those big hitting moves.
Yeah, it's true.
And the lock on is so bad. I think
Yeah, that's true.
the worst thing about lock on, I think most people like don't fully realize this, is not that it's 5 energy per turn, is the fact that it is a 1 turn move.
One
And
turn
like
and one
Right.
damage. Yeah.
so like and 1 turn moves are so broken in this game. Niantic, if like honestly, I don't think it would be bad if Niantic made all 1 turn moves 2 turn moves. I think 1 turn moves are really really unfortunate. Dragon Breath is the prime example, and the reason 1 turn moves suck so much is that this game that we all play is just so heavily reliant on something that we don't even think about, which is decimal rounding.
Right.
Like if you look at the Sims of Bubblebee Mantine versus Hypno versus Altaria, both Hypno and Altaria have fast moves that do 4 damage per turn and generate 3 energy per turn. So,
Hmm.
but one is Hypno's Confusion is 4 turns and Dragon Breath is 1 turn. So I think Hypno's Confusion does I think this is like off the top of my head, like the numbers might be wrong but the scale is definitely right. So like Hypno's Confusion does like I think 11 damage per move to Mantine. After one bubble beam does like 9 or 10 maybe. After another one it does 8, and maybe after the third bubble beam it still does 8 or maybe 7, something along those lines. Dragon Breath from Altaria to Mantine does 2 damage per turn, so also 2 damage per move because it's 1 turn. After one bubble beam, it still does 2. After two bubble beams, it still does 2. And after the third bubble beam, it does 1 because it's rounding from like 2.4 all the
Right.
way to 1.6, which all is rounded to 2. And
So that's
it's
why.
just so
Oh,
crazy. And like,
that's why when your opponent's really low, like let's say the Mantine's really low, and then the Dragonite has to pause for their charge move. That's why you get a spike in damage because it goes back up to 2. Is that what happens? Or that's what makes. Dude, yo, I noticed that. Okay, I knew there was something there. I knew it. I just wanted to say it.
and
I
the
didn't have
other thing
anyone.
that sucks is like for example, Pokemon like bulk is for some reason um,
Right.
because of decimal rounding, HP is so much more influential than defense in terms of bulk. Because if you
Yeah.
look at Wigglytuff versus Defense Deoxys versus the Registeel, so lock on is so Wigglytuff for people who don't know this, Wigglytuff has 220 HP or something, which is like massive. But its defense value is like I don't know, it's like maybe 100, even less probably. It's like 90 or something. So that's the same defense as Haunter, but its HP is so high that it comes out to good bulk. Whereas Defense Deoxys has I think maybe 100 HP, slightly more maybe, I'm not sure. Which is again just a little over Haunter, but has 230 defense. So, which makes Defense Deoxys a really bulky Pokemon. But the problem is, so Lock On technically might be doing from Registeel, which is 1 damage per turn, non-stab, not super effective, is probably doing zero point 0.1 or zero point 0.2 damage per turn to Registeel. But because um, rounding rounds it to 1 every time, Lock On is doing 1 HP of damage to Defense Deoxys
Right.
every half second. So every second, Defense Deoxys is losing 2% of its total health to Registeel's lock-ons, whereas Wigglytuff is losing in the same second 0.5%, even though Defense Deoxys is bulkier, which just means that having more HP is better than having more defense. And it really frustrates me that it all comes down to decimal rounding, and it just
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's amazing. I knew there was something there with the Dragon Breath. I just wanted to thank you, Abhinav. Thank you.
yeah.
Because like I told
Try farming
a
down a Wigglytuff and a Defense Deoxys with lock-on and see the difference.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I know it's a lot slower.
Yeah.
I told okay, so like I told that exact thing to a lot of my PvP friends that I practice with, and they're like, spiking? There's no spiking in damage. And I'm like, yeah, there's gotta be, because like I just get like damage just comes through and then the Pokemon's dead and I don't know what to do. Like Dragon Breath just after the charge move, it's gone. Like, how does that happen? Why isn't it like because I'm so used to seeing one damage and then it spikes up to two. I see. Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Well,
It's
we
fine.
don't know for certain that that's 100% the case of what you're seeing, scientists, because
Okay.
lag, the game's
Well,
trying to sync up,
yeah,
the networks, the
I think it's
servers, they're like,
decimal rounding, but okay. I like to say it's decimal rounding.
So
oh,
Abhinav
so is that what we're gonna say now? Like
Decimal
lag, we're like
rounding.
decimal round math, math,
Math.
math.
so
Freaking
Abhinav,
math.
as somebody who's say that megas were one of your favorite features in the game, and we've kind of talked about the way they've implemented it. Would you like to see them move towards having them be something that's viable in a PvP format, especially in a Sil format? And why would that be appealing or unappealing to you? And maybe how could they do that, given that they're seemingly looking for our feedback?
Mm-hmm. Wait, this was directed at me, right? I missed the
Yeah.
first part.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Awesome. Yeah, this is something I'm really interested in. Oh, before I say this, I should say I do have to go soon.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, I've just started a new PvP coaching service.
Hey,
So yeah, today is my first session. So wish me luck.
excellent.
But yeah, I think megas in PvP hold a lot of interest for me. I'm really excited because, like I said, Mega Evolution was the coolest thing to happen for me in the games ever since Generation 4, where you're in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, where your buddy could walk behind you. Like since that, like Mega Evolution has been the best thing for me in the main series games, and I think Mega Evolution designs are really cool. I was really looking forward to them, and I think most people think that Mega Evolutions have only play in Master League, and that's true to an extent. Obviously, most Mega Evolutions max out over 2,500, and oftentimes reach over 4,000, 5. Like I think Mega Mewtwo Y is like I can't even think about like 8,000 CP maybe. I don't know. And like eventually when they come out with like Eternamax, Eternatus in like Generation 8, that's going to be like 10,000 CP. Like yeah, like that's what people think about when they think about Mega Evolution, like huge CP values, right? And that's fair. Master League is definitely going to see the most Mega Evolution play if it ever happens. But I think Mega Evolutions hold a lot of value in Great League and Ultra League too. I think Mega Sableye, for example, is basically a regular Sableye with the same moveset, of course, because it keeps the moveset when it evolves, but it has 400 points more in stat product. It goes from like 120 attack or something like that to 110 attack. Um, HP goes from like 120 to 110 maybe, but the defense goes from like 120 to 170. So it's basically a Sableye but better. And for anybody who saw the Grunt Cup, my Grunt Cup today, I think Sableye is the best mon in Great League. I think
I
I
can
think
agree to that.
I
I
think
can agree.
Return Sableye is like the most powerful mon in Great League, and I will always stand by that. It's what I use in like GBL lead to climb on leaderboards. It's what I use in PvP any chance I get. Like it's like the ultimate safe swap, and I think Sableye is so powerful. I'm so lucky I got a best buddy hundo from like last year's Halloween event, and like imagining a more powerful version of that is like mind like I can't even comprehend how good that would be. Like current simulations which are like super few and far in between show that it'll be really good, which is to be expected. And then in Ultra League, I think Mega Altaria, which is going to be a Dragon Fairy type, I think is really cool. Like Mega Altaria, I think maxes out at like, I don't even know, 3,000, 3,200 CP. But because Fairy is immune to Dragon, Mega Altaria is the only Dragon type which resists Dragon Breath. Like even Dialga takes neutral from Dragon Breath. So even though Mega Altaria is like 1,000 CP or 800 CP points below Dialga, it still beats Dialga in the one shield. And that's Master League. So like Ultra League is going to be even more amazing. So like
Oh,
I'm
no,
You're
wait.
making Max very happy right now.
No.
Sorry.
So one more thing that you should know. Azumarill with Rock Smash beats Dialga in the one shield scenario in Ultra League.
That's crazy.
As it stands now.
That's
As it
actually
stands now.
awesome. If you had said Master League, I would have maxed out an Azumarill right away. That's awesome,
Man.
though. And Mega Medicham, I think a level 40 100 IV Medicham is like 2495 CP. So that should be really cool. So I think there's a lot of play. At the same time, just like in Master League, but maybe to a lesser extent, Mega Pokemon have the potential to completely warp metas around them. Like I think Mega Sableye could be so dominant a force in Great League maybe that the charm would become much more prevalent, and that would be like the theme has been tonight, a bad development for PvP. So hopefully Niantic does it right. Hopefully they balance it out. Like I was saying earlier, Niantic's PvP wing seems to have a really good hold on what to do and what not to do. I think some of the changes they're making is really good, like Weather Ball Abomasnow or like Bullet Seed Cradily. Like these are all like really good meta balancing changes that are well thought out and well executed. And hopefully they lend that same kind of um, well balanced thinking to Mega Evolutions in PvP, and hopefully it is something that Sylph does too. But none of this can happen like we said if primarily Niantic doesn't fix the paywall feature that is blocking Mega Evolution accessibility.
All right, so
Like this is all a dream until like they fix the 40 Mega Energy per evolution cost.
All right, so Cliff's Notes, Niantic. The Cliff's Notes are Mega Evolutions need to be altered. They need to be not behind the paywall. They should make their way to PvP, and the main reason why Mega Sableye would cause a problem was because of Charm, which was the mistake in the first place, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think Charm and Razor Leaf are fine. Like like it only makes sense. Like on the sliding scale of like fast move weighted damage weighted fast moves and energy weighted fast moves, the existence of damage weighted fast moves has to exist. But
Right.
like it would really suck if Niantic introduced more and more um, damage weighted fast moves. Like imagine, like I don't want to see the day where there is a dragon type charm. Like that would
No.
suck.
No.
Like that is not the way forward.
Oh,
No.
you mean like Dragon Rage becomes a new fast move and it's a
Oh god.
Charm or Razor Leaf clone? Or no,
Please.
like what would it be even better is like Dragon's Dance, a non-attack move becomes like a charm for dragons. And you're kind of like, dear God, Niantic, stop.
Dragon dance. Dragon dance.
That is
No.
real, yes.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's too ridiculous. It's like a game, right? It's like imagine like a game like Overwatch or something. They only release attack characters. How are you supposed to play the game if it's just attack characters? Like you're just attacking each other. There's no like tanks, there's no like how are you supposed to like there's no healers? What is the game? Like
Scientist
Yeah,
is
I
at a
think-
loss.
sorry,
I
I'm a
think
gamer.
energy generating moves are definitely what keeps the game balanced and more skill focused than just I don't know tapping focused. But
Exactly.
yeah, hopefully Niantic listens. I think Niantic is listening. I think they're definitely getting better and not worse, bar Mega Energy, which is a
I do think
big
that they
mistake.
are leaning toward the making like clones for everything. Like, oh God, Burno, no, please no.
No,
Please, God, no.
get that out of the chat.
Tele-
No.
Teleport becomes a normal charm.
Okay.
You don't need to
Please.
teleport and get out of there if you just beat your opponent to death. Like
That doesn't even make sense.
Well,
that actually.
escape.
Let's make
What
sure
I
that
think could be interesting is if they ever introduce status effects. I think that could be cool.
Yes.
Like
Mhm.
maybe not sleep, but
Yeah.
like the sleep stuff. Where
Sleep.
where
What do you
like
do?
like
Well, like
Wake up
poison,
lag.
if
like
they do toxic, right? Like to me, I thought the cool implementation would be introduce toxic to
yeah,
something like Community Day,
I was
Nido
gonna
Ren, or
say that.
Nido King, right?
Yeah, like maybe like toxic would be not as good because unlike unlike the regular poison status, toxic gets worse every turn, and
Right.
so with like the fast-paced game that is Pokemon Go PvP, like toxic could end the game so quickly. I think because it exponentially gets worse every turn. So like yeah, like sleep and
No, but this
paralysis.
is Niantic, so they won't do that. They don't know how to implement like main series staples into the real game. So like
Yeah,
toxic spikes or like was it regular spikes or what's the other one? The rock one, stealth rocks.
that's
Like
wrong. Yeah.
if they make it where
I
there's
don't.
like a move that it does stuff and like you have to like Harry Potter like 18 different like like swipe paths to either negate the poison or like the debuff, like if your
Mm,
Pokemon's confused from confusion type of or like some
yeah,
kind of confusion move,
yeah. I
and
think
it's like you have to swipe it to either get rid of the status
yeah.
or you accept the status and try to attack with like some kind of like crippling, like your Pokemon attacks every other move, or the damage is like halted, or now you have to get
Mm,
to more energy to throw the move, like something where it makes it like I actually have to make a very valued decision to
yeah, for
either
sure.
get rid of the status or not.
Yeah, I think stuff like that could be super interesting. Maybe it would be very complicated. Like I think PvP is already like not the simplest thing in the world, and overcomplicate. Like I would definitely encourage Niantic to keep it simple than overcomplicated. But stuff like that definitely sounds cool in theory if implemented right. For like a poison, like I could think of a charge move that maybe costs 50 energy, does like almost no damage, but poisons the opposing Pokemon, and
Like
then
acid spray.
every turn, which is like half a second in PvP, the opposing Pokemon takes like I don't know 2 HP damage or something, and then that allows you to farm better, or like Stealth Rock, which is like every time and setting up entry hazards, so that every time a Pokemon comes into the battlefield, they take like damage, and it's a rock type damage too. So like you could have a rock type charge move. I don't know, 50 damage again, sorry, 50 energy, maybe super low damage. But now there's a rock type entry hazard on the field, and so if the opponent has like, so the opponent is now discouraged from swapping out. So like it will make sack swapping less easy to do, less easy to justify. Maybe you'd want to stay in and try to win switch advantage because you don't want to like end up swapping out. If the opponent has a Charizard, they're really screwed because it's a rock type entry hazard. So like yeah, those are really cool things that one day I could see being a part of this game. But like those are, like I said, those are so far in the future, and right now I think Niantic really needs to focus on getting the basics right. And yeah, with that, I do have to
that's
go.
what I was just about to say.
Unfortunately,
Let's make sure we give an
thank you,
exit path to our
thank you
guest.
so much for having me.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah, this is a really great experience for me. I definitely like to come back anytime you guys want to have me.
Yeah, definitely.
And
We will definitely contact you again at some point. We'd like to mix up the panel here on a regular basis, so we would be happy to have you on again. It's been great.
yeah,
And good
this has
luck with your
definitely been a great
coaching
experience.
business.
I didn't know about your channel until a few days ago, but I'm
Spread
following now. I hope to
spread the
tune in for
word.
more streams.
we're
And
we're trying to spread the gospel of Pick Six, even though we don't like to denigrate anything. We really try to lean toward not doing like pure GBL content as much as possible. It's very
yeah, and
hard.
that's great.
It's
That's
hard to
awesome.
swim
Yeah.
upstream like that. So everybody who's on team Battler, definitely spread the word. Have a great
I
night.
love that. That's awesome. We definitely need. I definitely think we need to support those kinds of ventures and streams more for sure. So that's awesome. I'll quickly plug myself. My name's Abhinav. I'm a PvPer. I'm trying to get better, being the best that no one ever was, I guess. Um, top 500 in the world in Silph, looking to get better, obviously. And yeah, the main thing is I think Twitch is a really crowded place to stream, but I think I want to start streaming because it's something I'm passionate about. I think it's the worst decision I'll ever make because I'm going to be in my final year in college.
Oh man,
But
I can tell you all about
same.
that.
Second worst decision you ever
Same.
made, because the first was playing Pokemon Go.
right, right.
Oh no.
But I think it's now or never. So I think I'm gonna start streaming. I have no setup, nothing like that. I think it's still a little bit down the road, but I definitely hope that it's gonna be down the line.
Can't wait to have you back on when we discuss why Trick Room is a psychic charm clone.
I think I think Trick Room would be really cool. It's not gonna happen, but that'd be really cool. Like the fact that they implemented attack stat winning CMP is basically Niantic's eternal fuck you to ever having a speed stat. So I think the dream of ever having a speed stat and thus Alakazam or Gengar being good is like over. Gengar is still good, obviously, but Alakazam, like no one can convince me Counter Fire Punch is good.
You'll quickly find out that if you don't take your exit, Max will continually find ways to keep you here with his conspiracy theories. So
That's true. This has been
run while you
fun.
still
I'm gonna
can.
leave now, but thank you so much.